Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the jewelry space. Okay, so just like how we did the AC manufacturing space, we're also going to be doing the jewelry space. We will divide the jewelry space into two categories. The first is going to be the B2B, where we're going to cover companies like Sky Gold, RBZ, and there are many small cap also over here. And then the B2C, the likes of Kalyan, Senko, and the others. Okay, so let us start with the B2B space today in the jewelry segment. I've already covered RBC in detail. I would say I think few weeks ago, and now we are going to be covering Sky Gold. Okay, just before I go on to the entire Sky Gold, before we go in detail about that, I think I do not know if you guys have read that on Twitter, but we'll be starting with a non-financial workshop from Jan 11th and 12th. It's going to be a live workshop that both me and Rajoshi will do, and yeah, we will open. We will start the registration probably from next week, and yeah, keep your eyes on that. Okay, but anyways, let us start with the Sky Gold update, how it has been. So overall, when we saw that in Q1 FY25, we saw that they had raised their guidance, right? So things were going on really well for them. So let us see if the pace of growth has continued. What are the new updates in the business, and how has the valuation changed compared from the last quarter to this quarter? And all of it we will cover in depth in this video. Okay. So first of all, let us go into the first thing is the Sky Gold. What does it do? Sky Gold is a company where it is a B2B company, which means what? Unlike your Kalyan, Senko, and Gadgil jewelers who are selling the jewelry like under their brand to, let's say, the customers, Sky Gold on the other hand makes the jewelries and sells to the likes of Kalyan, Gadgil, Tanishq, and all of these people. Okay, so they are a B2B company. They make this jewelry for other companies. Okay, that is plain and simple. Okay, so now let us talk about how the Q2 FY25 has been. And we all know that before this year started, these people had increased the guidance. Earlier the guidance was 5,000 odd crores by FY27. Okay, then what happened at the starting of the year? These people acquired two companies. Okay, they acquired this Star Mangal Sutra, and there is another company that they acquired. So both of these companies that are there, yeah, so both of these companies that are there, the Star Mangal Sutra and the other one, right? Because of this, they increased the revenue guidance from 5,000 crore to 6,300 crore. Okay, so these are the two things. These are the two things that had happened, and let us see how has the journey been in Q2 FY25. Okay, I'll share my screen for the valuation part. Okay. Okay, let me just get this right. Okay, so first let us start talking about the numbers. Okay, so if you look at them, you'll see that the Q2 FY25 numbers has also been quite resilient only, right? It has not been any different compared to the other quarters. You will see that the sales that is there from from Q2 of last year to this year, that is on a year-on-year basis. You see that the first thing is sales has grown by 94%. PAT that is there has become 4x, not 400, like not like 40% or something. I'm talking about 4x. Literally, the PAT has grown by 405%. Okay, if you'll talk about on a half-yearly basis, that is H1 over H1, you see that the sales that is there also has grown by 93%, and PAT that is there has grown by 223%. So you see that the sales growth that is there, the pace of growth that is there, it still continues to be a very high growth engine. In terms of operating leverage that you see, operating leverage also continues to be very strong. Okay, second thing, the third thing we'll talk about is the margins, right? EBITDA margin also has improved. Last time it was 3.9, last H1. This time it is 5%. Similarly, PAT margin also has significantly improved. PAT margin is at 3.8%. Now you will see PAT margin earlier for Sky Gold also used to be at like 2 and less than 2%, right? And we saw that in Q3 of last year, Q3 of FY24, they came up with an update telling that they want to move from credit loan to GML loan, that is your gold metal loan. Now what is this credit loan? Basically you are taking the loan, आपका working capital जो है, short term loan from the bank, you're taking it, you're using that money, you're buying gold, and then after that you pay that money, right, whenever your sales are getting recognized, right? So over here, when you take a credit loan, basically आप cash पे loan देते हो, the interest rate can go from 9 to 13% in that area, right? But if you go for gold metal loan का मतलब है you're actually borrowing the gold from the bank and you are going to pay them in a part of sales, right? यहाँ पे in terms of GML, the interest cost that is there is hardly 4 to 6% in that range. So obviously आपका जब interest rate घट जाएगा, finance cost जो है वो भी घट जाएगा, right? And you know that PAT is nothing but sales minus expenses is equal to PAT. So finance cost is your expenses. As your expenses becomes less, your PAT will get better, and your PAT margin will also stand a chance to improve. And they told last time ना that ये gold metal जो है they are shifting to that. That is why we are seeing another bet was that ये PAT margins improve भी होने वाला है, right? And they had a target कि like by the year end they will shift to like maximum to the gold metal loan, and because of this the PAT margin जो है should shift to 3.5%. And as of H1 FY25 you see that the PAT margin is around 3.8%. Okay, so all in all, in terms of growth guidance that they had given, in terms of operating leverage, in terms of margin, all in all Q2 is on track. Okay, now you will see that the export part is right now it's still at 8 to 9%. Domestic is contributing 91% of the revenue. The most important thing when you talk for Sky Gold or any kind of B2B jewelers is you have to see what is your volume growth यहाँ पे, ठीक है? Because most of the because see आप एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी होती, सो द अमाउंट कितना आप उस पे वर्क कर रहे हो, काम कर रहे हो, दैट बिकम्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, लाइक सो हियर इफ यू सी इवन द वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ जो है, वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ इज आल्सो वेरी तगड़ा. वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ इज एट 38%. आई मीन इट ग्रो 38% on a year on year basis. In fact, if you look at Q2 FY25, the volume growth, I mean they were doing 250 kgs per month. Now if you see they're doing around 345 kgs per month. So overall even this is good. And by the end of the year, or not this end of the year, I'm talking about FY26 and then 27, you should see them doing around 600 to 650 kgs, and then after that around 700 kgs also per month. Like this is where the projection is for them. Okay, other than that, if you see, so this is from the business side of the update. You see that like Q2 FY25 का result अगर आप देखते हो, on a glance all is good, right? Sales is there, operating leverage is there, margins is improving. You see that the volume growth is there. Volume growth is also high double digit, 38% का volume growth है. Other than that, let us talk about certain other updates. Okay, like if you see, पहला बात है, like from the time I believe when they first did the con call, okay, like when Sky Gold did the first con call or second con call, I remember they've been talking about adding Tanishq as their partner, as their client. Okay, and it never happened. I think one of the reason was earlier, if you remember, Sky Gold was having a very small plant. Recently in the last year only they moved to their new plant in Navi, Mumbai. Okay, and Tanishq का एक क्या बोलते एक whenever if they are acquiring you or they're giving you a contract, they have a condition as like you can't be a small player, you need to have a bigger capacity and all of that. And now that they have moved over here, they signed I think you all know Carrot Lane by Tanishq. This is another sub brand of Tanishq, right? So they signed Carrot Lane by Tanishq as a brand. Okay, they became their customers, right? Which was very long due, very positive update. Other than that, if you see, there is another jeweler in the listed market space, that is PN Gadgil Jewelers. So recently, before Q2 ka numbers jo hai, it got listed, right? You see that even this company has been signed by Sky Gold as their client. So they've added 2 new clients to their product portfolio also. Okay. Now, other than that, if you see, other than addition of clients, they are also talking about another acquisition. Like I told you, unka already last year mein unhone 2 acquisition kiya tha, not last year, between Q4 and Q1. They did 2 acquisition. One is that Sparkling Jewellery and Star Mangal Sutra. दोनों उनका acquisition किया था. Now they are in talks. Recently, I think around 15 hours ago, this update came that recently they are in talks even to acquire another company called as Sitara Gold and Diamond Jewelleries. Okay, इसका acquisition अभी तक हुआ नहीं है. They have just got an approval from their board members to go forward with it. So we have to wait and see how this update will be. And who knows, probably once we get this update, I do not know, but who knows? Probably again guidance could be revised next quarter. I mean, I don't know. But this is one more acquisition that they are eyeing. Okay. The other business update, I would say, as you all are aware, probably between this Q1 and Q2 ka months, they have raised around 270 crores in QIP. Okay, so one of the reasons they raised this money was for a couple of reasons. As you know, now Sky Gold that is there, they have a very strong hold on this 22 karat ka jewelry. Okay, this 22 karat gold. Now they want to expand their product portfolio even into 18 karat gold. So one is यहाँ पे product expansion हो रहा है, या आपका product portfolio में change हो रहा है. That is one thing. Second, they want to infuse a lot of capital in this Star Mangal Sutra and Sparkling Gold jewelries जो है in this also. And the third is they want to move more and more to exports. That is why they're eyeing. They want to get big brands like let's say UAE में, Qatar में, Oman में, whichever the big organized brands that are there. They're trying to eye and acquire them as clients. So for that is why they raised this money, this 270 crores that is there. Okay, so this is, and as of now, like and they do not have any problem with capacity, right? Because like I told you, was Navi Mumbai may they can do I think up to 750 kgs per month. And as of now in that Navi Mumbai ka plant jo hai, which is the only one plant that they have, the capacity utilization is only up until 46%. So even if they continue to want to grow even at this rate also, there is no problem in terms of capex. They have a lot of capacity that is there still left over here. So overall, if you see for Q2 FY25, that is there, the Sky Gold ka update has been really, really good, right? In terms of sales, in terms of operating leverage, margins, volumes, you see that you see them doing a lot of acquisition. Capex जो है वो भी अच्छा है चल रहा है. There is a lot of utilization they have that is left. उन्होंने जो QIP में जो whatever money that they have raised, there is clear cut plan also as like what they are going to do. Okay, now coming to the most important part, the guidance that is there. Okay, so you all know they have not revised the guidance on the lower end. They are very, very confident about achieving the guidance, that is 6,300 crore by FY27, and this year, that is for FY25, they will be doing 2,700 crore with the parent company alone. Parent company matlab sirf Sky Gold Corporation se they will do 2,700 crore. And if you include the subsidiary that they have acquired now in this year, that is that Star Mangalsutra and Sparkling Jewellery, if you add them, it will the revenue growth, revenue expectation is around 3,200 to 3,300 crore you can expect. So total revenue for this year is 3,200 to 3,300 in terms of revenue, and the PAT margin can be anywhere between 3 to 3.5%. And as of H1 FY25, you see that the company has done 1,500 crores in revenue. Okay, literally 1,500 crores in revenue in H1 they have done. And you all know, right, for these kind of companies, जो भी jewelry companies है, right, you know that for these people H2 is greater than H1, क्योंकि H2 में you have Q3, and Q3 is the biggest season for marriages. Now almost maximum marriages happen in this Q3 ka season. You see a lot of festivities are there, right? As a result, you know, of course, if they are doing 1,500 crores in H1, they should be able to do at least another 1,500 crores in H2, right? In fact, they should be able to do more than that. So I believe that 3,200 to 3,300 crore ka target that is there is quite easily achievable. Again, now that we are seeing also the gold price that is there due to cutback in import, right? Import ka duty jo hai, it has been reduced, right, from 12 to 6%. So now, as a result of that, we are seeing a lot of buying demand coming from the customer side. So obviously this target that is there to do 3,200 to 3,300 crore by this year should easily be done for them, right? Like absolutely, right? So that is another thing. Now, other than that, also the company, what they mentioned in their call was that in Q3, that is agla quarter jo hai, they are expecting another in Q3 they're expecting a run rate of 1,000 crore. So probably 700 to 750 crore from Sky Gold alone, and around 150 to 350 from probably probably from the subsidiary. So totally around 1,000 crore is what they're expecting. And if you look at last Q3 ka revenue, was around 450 crore odd. I think 450 to 400 crore odd it was last Q3 FY24. So going forward, even in the next Q3, right, you will see this high pace of sales of growth continue. Of course, provided that they actually do achieve these numbers, you will see even in the next Q3, the growth rate is going to be 100%. We've seen this like massive growth rate from Q1, Q2, even in Q3 also. I think last Q3, the growth rate was probably Q3 of FY24 over Q2 of FY23, the growth rate was 45%. And from this year, we've seen Q1, Q2, and Q3, we've seen them growing 100%. And with this guidance that they have given for Q3 also, you can expect 1,000 crore in revenue. Compared to last Q3, that is also going to be another 100% growth engine. Okay. Now, I'm just going to discuss certain part in terms of cash flows and balance sheet, because there has been a lot of halagula over here, like blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to share my screen and show that to you, and we will discuss every parameters. Okay. Okay, so I have opened this income statement. I can't see standalone. This is a consolidated. Always check for consolidated numbers. Okay. So first of all, the first thing you will see that over here, the revenue growth that is there, like we discussed, it has been a massive 94% growth engine on a year-on-year basis. Okay. In fact, I'll tell you guys one more thing. Okay. Can you see here is this Q2, this is Q2, na? Q2, ye kya hai? Lakhs mein hai. So this is 768 crores. They have done 768 crore in Q2 FY25 alone. And last year in 2023, in H1, Okay, that is Q1 plus Q2 combined, they did 771 crore. So last time H1 में जो किया, इस बार Q2 में in one quarter alone they have done. So can you understand how much the pace of growth has improved? Not just that, in FY22, I believe, in FY22, हाँ, in March 2022, can you believe, पूरा साल का revenue था 786 crore, and भाई साहब अभी तो 768, almost उसका, they have done it in one quarter. Can you just believe the pace, the increase in pace of sales growth? Okay, like just can you believe what a massive pace of growth, high sales growth engine this has been? Okay, now everybody has had this concern कि like भाई जो other income जो है, it has increased massively ना, because over here you see that is, it is कितना 80 lakhs है, this is 0.8 crore, so 80 lakhs, and here it is 19 crore is coming from other income, almost 20 crore, 19.7, 20 crore is coming from other income. Okay, first of all the thing is, if you compare it on a percentage wise, you will see like bhai, like 20x increase in other income, right? एक almost यहाँ पे 1 करोड़ समझो, 1 करोड़ से 20 करोड़ यहाँ पे हो गया. Of course, so do not take percentage wise. ये सोचो ना, मतलब भाई देखो, एक कंपनी जो है एक क्वार्टर में 768 करोड़ का सेल्स कर रहे हैं, और आपको अदर इनकम जो 20 करोड़ है उसका आप टेंशन ले रहे हो. मतलब कैन यू एक्सप्लेन मी द लॉजिक ओवर हियर, लाइक व्हाई डू यू थिंक इन सर्टेन वे? एक क्वार्टर का, लाइक एक्सप्लेन राइट नाउ, जो FY22 का पूरा साल का रेवेन्यू किया था वो अभी कर रहा है, राइट? द पेस ऑफ ग्रोथ हैज इंक्रीज्ड, गाइडेंस हैज इंक्रीज्ड, एवरीथिंग इज डूइंग वेल, एंड पीपल आर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट द 20 करोड़ इन रेवेन्यू इन अदर इनकम. like I do not know how to explain that. The other thing, why this other income has come. So if Sky Gold का अगर आप देखते हो, 5 to 6 years back, they had whatever the capital that they had put it in the share market. Okay, so they had a lot of I think around 20 to 28 crores in, they had shares of TCS, HDFC Bank and all of that. Now that they're going into this GML loan, like I told, they're going from this credit loan to GML loan. Earlier when they were doing this credit loan, where they were taking cash as loan, they had hedged these shares. Okay. Now since they're going to GML loan, they have to show some money in FD. Like they see, if you're taking loans for something, you always have to give a collateral now. So they have to place some collateral in FD. So what they're doing is they're selling these shares and shifting it to FD. One, it will be as a collateral for the GML loan that they're taking. Second, it is also like an approved thing from a board member that, it makes no sense when you are a listed company, right? And आप किसी और company का shares में, like it doesn't make sense for a company to be investing in share market. Might as well keep the money in FD. Like that is what they're thinking, and that is why they've offloaded the money from the share market and they're parking that money in the FD. Okay, so that is where by selling those shares they got this 20 crore. That is one thing. Okay, second thing, even in the next quarter, so this is a one-time sale. Even in the next quarter, I think they have certain shares of SBI Bank that also they will sell. So probably again in the next quarter also around 30 to 35 crores you will see in other income. Now over here, even if you let's say इसका कितना है 36 crore ना, 36 crore से let's say you directly take, a lot of people have been telling कि like अरे ये 20 crore has been directly reflected in PAT 36 crore. Okay, now over here if that is the case, can you tell me यहाँ पे expenses क्या same है क्या from last year to this year? Can you see the expenses also has doubled, 387 से 742, expenses has literally doubled. So how can you tell that the PAT, जो other income का जो है, the PAT is getting, that is also getting directly reflected over here in the EPS, right? If let's say the expenses has remained the same over here, then I understand, but over here the reason over here you also see is PAT is so little is also because यहाँ पे expenses भी यहाँ पे बढ़ा है, right? Like what kind of logic is this? Now let me give you another scenario. Let's say 36 करोड़ से आपने वो 20 करोड़ हटा दिया, ठीक है? 36 करोड़ से 20 करोड़ हटाया तो 16 करोड़ होता है PAT. Okay, Q2FY23 का PAT कितना है? 7.26 crore. Now if I minus from this 36.7, 20 crores, it becomes how much? 16 crores ना? 26, 16. 36 minus 20, 16 crore. यहाँ पे कितना है? 7.2. Still you will see that the PAT has been there. It has doubled over here. Sales is up by 94%. PAT जो है 16 crore है. 7 into 2 is 14. यहाँ पे 16 crore. So of course it is more than 2x, right? So obviously even if this other income is not there, you're still seeing an operating leverage over here, right? So overall that other income is not an issue. ठीक है? Now let us go. The other thing is asset liability mismatch. आपका current asset जो है, total current asset is 695 crore. Current liability is 449. Current asset is greater than liability. Current asset by current liability, if you take 695 divided by 449, approximately 1.4 to 1.5. overall good for a B2B company जो commodity में करता है, great. I will not do the ROE calculation over here. You will see that the ROE जब आप calculate करते हो, it will appear as less. One of the reason is because ROE का अगर आप formula देखते हो, the base, the denominator is your equity base. और equity base क्या हुआ है? यहाँ पे multiply हुआ है ना? It has increased because you have done the QIP, right? So equity base has increased. That is why you will see that the ROE that is there has come down. ठीक है? That is over. Next, let's go to the cash flow from operations. I know a lot of you all will have questions over here also. ठीक है, पहला बात है, you will see the net profit that is there over here. We see it has increased, right? Before the working capital change also, it is positive and it has increased. Now, ये जो working capital है, जो business का day to day operations जो होता है, अगर इसका हिसाब से देखते हैं, after that we see it is negative, right? And it has also the, you will see that the it has decreased compared to the losses that you can tell has been increased over here, right? Like 15 crore tha, negative 15 crore, and here it is negative 61 crore. Okay, and the main culprit over here, can you see यहाँ पे payables, not a bad idea, nothing, not much anything over here. Can you see the big amount that is there is here? Not even inventories. Inventories also okay, has increased from 16 to 18. But can you see the receivables जो है, it has gone from 30 crore, 29.9 now, 29.9 crore से यहाँ पे it has become 112 crore. Almost आप बोल सकते हो यहाँ पे 30 approximation लो, 112, almost 4x हुआ है यहाँ पे, receivables has increased. Now over here again I know, see, understand the business. पहला तो ये छोटा company है, ठीक है, and on top of that you're getting so much demand. Okay, so obviously, and this happens in a contract. Let's see, understand how a B2B business works. Whenever you're buying gold, you have to pay upfront for you to buy the gold. Okay, when you're selling it, when you're selling your gold jewelry to, let's say, Tanishq ho, Malabar ho, koi bhi ho, okay, you have to do it. Let's say they'll give you an advance first, and then after that you sell your product. In a part payment it happens. Let's say it could be 7 days or after 30 days, or sometimes it could be, let's say the contract is such that they make the payment due after 45 days. So that is one thing. Okay, what has happened over here, as you know, with every B2C jewelry company you would see, everybody is experiencing something called as inventory loss. I will cover what this inventory loss is when I'm doing the B2C. But आपने देखा होगा ना, Tanishq was hit greater than Kalyan. Kalyan was hit more than Senco, and Senco was hit more than PN Gadgil Jewelers, right? If you know in the B2C space, right? Because the size is bigger over here, so that is why Tanishq got hit more compared to Kalyan, compared to Senco, compared to Gadgil. Okay. Now, first of all, these people are having inventory losses. The second thing is, since the gold prices came down because of the, and they've seen a lot of, demand in terms of customer side, even these people have to place order, so that they cater to the demand, right? So they are having so much problem over there, B2C. So to cut some slack for these B2C companies, what they've told is, okay, they've increased the payment days that are there, the receivable days that are there for these companies, they've increased it. Now, that is the reason you see that यहाँ पे थोड़ा receivables जो है, they've done so because, see, this, like, Sky Gold has been working with these companies for a very long period of time, right? So, and they trust them to make the payment over here, and you also know that most of the companies that Sky Gold has in their client list are also another listed company. No other listed company will default on the payment. It is going to be a big dhaka on their, black dot on their reputation now. So that is the thing. Only reason you see this massive increase in receivable is because Sky Gold has given them a period to, like, increase the number of days in receivables, because these people have been facing a little bit more problem. That is it. Okay, now other than that, if you see, nothing else, all great in the company, right? Everything, there is nothing wrong. Cash flows are also quite decent. I've covered both receivables and the other income part. Okay, now let us go to the valuation part. Yeah, if you remember, we did this valuation exercise even in even in Q1 of FY25. Now, see, every time when you do this valuation cutting, you have to do it every quarter. The reason being, one, from last quarter to this quarter, one is a market cap would have increased, right? Or the market cap would have decreased. Second is because, let's say, if the guidance is revised on the upper end, the opportunity becomes more lucrative. Let's say again, if the guidance is revised on the lower end, it is not as accretive, right? So of course, so based on this, since the scenario keeps changing, you also have to do the, whether it is peer-to-peer analysis, whether it is valuation ka exercise, everything you have to do again and again every quarter. It's like a very dynamic process. Okay, now Yeah, FY24 का revenue was 1745 crore and FY24 का PAT was 40 crore. Now यहाँ पे can you see market cap? If you remember, this is the main difference between this valuation exercise and what we did in Q1 of FY25. Because in Q1 of FY25, I still remember, I think the market cap was literally around what, 3,100 crore in that odd, and market cap has almost, like I would say, 80 to 90% market cap has grown in just one quarter, like 4 to 5 months, right? Like massive re-rating has happened over here. So now we need to see if it is still as lucrative. Now with the re-rating that has happened, is it still there or not? Okay, so I have taken 3 case scenarios. Like I told you, case 1, the management has guided for what? One is PAT margin between 3 to 3.5 percentage. So we have taken 2 cases based on that. Other thing what the management has guided for, one is we will be doing 2,700 crore with Sky Gold alone. And if we include the parent company, which is Sparkling and the Star Jewellery that is there, Star Mangalsutra and Sparkling Jewellery, we will be doing around 3,200 to 3,300 crore in revenue. That is what they have done, right? So now, compared to this, let's say expected revenue, that is the column that you can see. Okay, yahan pe can you see now, compared to this, FY24 ka revenue is 1745, FY25 ka expected revenue we are expecting 2,700 crore. These are the 3 ranges, right? Based on that, the sales growth year on year is 55%, 83 and 89%, right? Now from this we are going to be calculating our PAT. As you know, this formula is very simple. PAT margin equal to net profit, net profit divided by sales. We know the PAT margin over here, which is 3%. We know the sales, we know this, right? So when you multiply, Uma, what happened? Okay, so when you multiply PAT margin with sales, we get the net profit. Okay, simple mathematical calculation. So for these cases of revenue, 2,000, 3,200 and 3,300, we get, this is the expected PAT we can have. Okay, similarly, when you compare this 40 crore and with this 81 crore, 40 crore with 96 and 40 crore with 99 crore, you see that the PAT, what is a PAT growth that we can see? 2x, 3.5x and similarly in that range, right? So you can see in all the 3 cases, whether let's say you consider, let's say the Sky Gold does only 2,700, or let's say the best to best case scenario where they do 3,300 crores, you see that the PAT growth is always more than the sales growth, right? Compare, यहाँ पे 55% है, यहाँ पे 2x है, right? So in all cases we can see that that there is operating leverage over here. Similarly, based on this PAT that we are expecting, we'll calculate the 1 year forward P. Okay, 1 year forward P यहाँ पे क्या है? ठीक है, 1 year forward P is nothing but market cap divided by net profit. Market cap कितना है हमारा? 5648 divided by these numbers, you will get 1 year forward P. So if it is a 3% PAT margin, the 1 year forward P goes from 57 to 69. If it is a PAT margin of 3.5%, same calculation, 1 year आपका PAT change हो जाएगा ना, because here this PAT was 3% in case 1, in case 2 it becomes 3.5. As a result, expected PAT also will change, although sales is constant. Similarly, for this you will get, these are the ranges of 1 year forward B. So the worst case scenario is this 2,700 crore with 3% PAT margin, and the best case scenario is this 3,300 crore with 3.5% PAT margin. Okay, now if you know, like I told you, H1 ने उन्होंने किया 1,500 crores in revenue, and we know H2 is greater than H1. So even if they do as much as H1, right, they're still, their FY25 ka sales growth will be 3,000 crore. 1,500 in H1 multiplied to 2, 3,000 crore. So probably this first case jo hai, it is least likely to happen. Okay, I think they will be able to do more than this, because at least minimum based on the H1 numbers, they have to do 3,000 crore. The second thing is their PAT margin in H1 is already 3.8. So they should be able to do around 3.5% PAT margin at least, I mean in H2. And the other thing is, if you look at the gold metal loan, in Q1, 10% was from gold metal loan. Okay, like they did 10% of the sale. In Q2, it was 20 to 25%. In Q3, they're telling the gold metal loan will contribute around 50 to 65, in that range, 60 to 65%. In Q4, it will be 80 to 85%. Okay, so if they are going around 80 to 85% by the year end with the GML, then most likely this 3.5% PAT margin is likely to happen, right? I believe these 2 cases, because 3,200 to 3,300 crore in sales, right, with 3.5% PAT margin. Okay, or is likely to happen. So you can expect probably the 1 year for, or maybe I can include even this worst case scenario, 3,300 crore with 3% pat margin. Okay, so the best and the worst case scenario is, best case scenario is this, and the worst case scenario is probably the same thing, 3,300 with probably 57 ka P. Okay, so आपका 1 year का forward PE that is there comes between 48 to 57 to 48 to 58 का आप पकड़ लो 1 year forward PE for 100% growth engine. Like I told you, even in Q3 the year on year sales growth will be 100%. Okay, because Q3 में it was 450 कितना है Q, let's check. Q3 in last year was 460 crore. Okay. And they're telling that this year it will be 1000 crore. So 460 to 1000, it is definitely 100% and more now. So for that, even in Q3, it's 100%. Even in FY24 versus FY25, it's like a good 85 to 90% of growth engine. And for that, high growth hai, P is 45 to 50, guidance revise किया है, acquisition कर रहा है, money is product mix यहाँ पे भी change हो रहा है. You decide if this company, you decide, I mean, you tell me whether you find this for 100% growth engine paying hardly 45 to 57 P is cheap or expensive. I can see, the thing is, I can show you the valuation calculation, but I mean, you can decide whether it is cheap or expensive, because I believe that is quite a subjective decision. That is the thing. Okay. And I also don't like, I think it can indirectly be taken as a buy or sell recommendation also, which I do not want to be a part of. That is the reason I would exclude from that conversation of, whether it is cheap, discussing whether it is cheap or expensive, due to those both reasons. Okay. Now let's say if you are a very, very bullish person, okay, like you really trust the business and everything, which I don't, which I'm the kind of person who's very hopeful, but I also like to be pessimistic. So I only take 1 year forward calculation, because world is very dynamic, right? You never know how and what will happen. Like आज gold का prices नीचे गिर गया, import duty cut हो गया, so everything is good for the business. Who knows, tomorrow some minister comes up and they increase the duty on gold, right? You can't tell it, anything can happen. But let's say you are very bullish about the business, and you think like, अरे ये 6,300 crore करेगा ही करेगा, and 3.5% PAT margin, which is FY27. So based on that, okay, 3.5 divided by 100, 0.035, right, into 6,300. 220 crores in PAT you can expect in FY27. आज का market cap कितना है? 5648. 5648 divided by 220.5. 25 का P. So आप, let's say if you're taking this 25, 26, 27, 3 year का forward P आप लेना चाहते हो, right? Expecting that, FY27 में they will do, what is that, 6,300 crore, 3.5 PAT margin. So based on that, you are getting a 90%, 190 to 100% growth engine at 25p. Now, I don't want to take this case scenario. Like I told you, I like to be pessimistic. I don't want to be so overly bullish on a business or anything. Like I like to be both. I'm hopeful it will do, but I also like to be conservative and just take a 1 year view compared to anything else. So if you take that, it is 25p, right? But I believe this is very more apt than that, right? So again, it's up to y'all to decide if y'all would want to pay that 47 to 58 kind of P in that range for, let's say, 100% kind of growth engine, right? So that's that about Sky Gold. Great business, promoters are good, guidance has been increased, all in all good. Now let us wait and hope and be hopeful about the fact that, the management can walk the talk like they have done for the last few quarters. Yeah, that's that about the business. I'll see you again in another video on the jewelry space. Bye.